Hello and welcome to day 3 of the Cheltenham November meeting in association with Paddy Power. Andy, Steve and I have been running through the card the last few days. Amazing race in the last couple of days, albeit the weather hasn't been great. Did hold up today, although some naughty cloud cover on the top of Cleve Hill put pay to our golf this morning, but by the by. I will mention at first glance here, Paddy Power have got a bet 10 get 50 offer live for Sunday morning. Some brilliant racing today.
Yeah.
Any particular highlights for you, Andy?
Yeah, I thought July Flower, she was a standout, very similar to Lotus the day before, the two preeminent 2-mile races where they've gone a really good gallop, which sorted the men from the boys, in her case a mare of course. Really served up a cracking race between July Flower and the Skeleton horse. It was very, very well backed and extremely well fancied, be aware. And the two of them pulled well clear. I thought it was a good field. I mean, Stencil travelled really well for a long way and he just couldn't live with them. So they've really quickened up the hill. Her jumping was pretty accurate all the way around, almost a jumping clinic really. And you know, she's going to be a serious contender come Cheltenham in March for the Arkle. Very similar to Put the Kettle On, a mare receiving the allowances with a touch of class. Now she's been around Cheltenham, she's got that feather in her cap, so big performance by her. And you know, the day one continuation of the Skeleton form rolled over to the Saturday itself with Panic Attack winning the big race. A lot of, I suppose, judges poo-pooed her really being a 9-year-old, an exposed 9-year-old. Could she improve? But if anyone's going to improve a horse like that, it's Dan Skelton, and he's done a great job with her. And yeah, it was a sumptuous performance, well ridden, always in the right place at the right time, and won quite comfortably with lots in hand. So they'll be thinking big with her as well come the festival, I thought.
I do think, even though we're in November, and probably off topic here, but I do think that the Skeletons probably do have a bit of a stranglehold on this season already. I mean, it's, you know, there's a long season to come, but something feels a bit different this year, doesn't it?
Yeah, and Nicky's probably losing a couple of his big guns as well. They're not quite the force of old. John Bonds we saw yesterday, he's been a big influence on prize money for Nicky along with Constitution Hill. Paul Nicholls obviously went on record yesterday saying he hasn't really got the superstars that he once had. Obviously that horse winning the Novice hurdle, but you know, gave him a nice fillip for the rest of the season, but he's not the horse who's going to go and win £500,000 for you. So it's only really going to be Willie Mullins in that back end of the season if he feels as though he can, you know, make the ground up which is already handed to Skeleton prize money wise, because it's done on prize money rather than numerical victories. So the fact that he's already bagged a couple of three big prizes here this weekend, and he's likely to continue all the way through that up to Christmas and beyond. So I think Willie this time might be struggling to retain his title. I mean, it'd be well deserved as well. I mean, Dan's, you know, all those hard labours he's had the last couple of seasons have not amounted to him winning it, but if anyone deserves it, it's him.
But he had, Willie Mullins did win a Breeders' Cup, didn't he? So he could do whatever he wants. Proper carnival atmosphere here on Saturday night, ready for Sunday. Talking of Sunday and carnival atmospheres, we think it'll be another day for the Skeletons?
Yeah, they've got chances, but not probably as strong as what they have done in the first 2 days. They've got bits in each race, bits and bobs. Yeah, I wouldn't be sort of putting any of his up this time, whereas the last couple of days I've fancied Panic Attack and July Flower, we've mentioned those. Big shout out to Steve as well, who mentioned Lavender Hill Mob as well, so kudos to him. That was a really great selection. Nice to see Sam Twiston-Davies finally recognise that the outside of the track is the quickest part, after riding around the inside on 3 horses from his home stable, to be told by James Owen you need to go wide. So crazy. Every day's a school day.
Crazy. We get on to Sunday's action here at the Paddy Power November meeting. We start with the Maiden hurdle. It's not very often you get a Derby second running over hurdles here at Cheltenham. Interesting runner?
Yeah, very much so. Obviously, Lavender Hillman, we touched on him just a second ago, and that's given the stable a bit of confidence that Abiante Friendly could make a winning debut. It's a good starting point for the horse. The ground's not going to be quite as bad as what it was predicted on the first day. It's going to dry out, no rain forecast. It's going to be poachy, soft ground. They'll go right to look for whatever better ground there is, although arguably where is the best ground now, because they've all churned it up around the outside now, probably in the middle somewhere. That's probably the only place they haven't gone, but yeah, he's a good horse, Ambiente Friendly, and he's a big player, but not necessarily one that I would be backing first time out against some established hurdlers.
Is there anything you fancy in the first, Andy?
Yeah, I quite like Gaelic Pride from the Warren Greatwood stable. Warren's been in good form of late. He was a bit not unlucky with Hercules Westwood today, but he ran a nice race in running on to finishing second. But I like Gaelic Pride. I think he bumped into quite a nice horse first time out. Horse of Harry Fry's called Idaho Sun. I've noticed that final circuit time at Fontwell was a real burn-up. And Gaelic Pride's only just got outpaced by a horse I think could be taking quite high rank this season, good novice hurdles. Then that's probably one of Harry Fry's better novice hurdlers. And he was a bit sloppy over the last 2 hurdles when the tempo quickened, so he could do with just brushing up his jumping a bit. But he looks as though he'll be proof for the step up and trip. He'll love the ground because he won on soft ground last season in a bumper. So yeah, I think Gaelic Pride, I think he's around about 5 to 1 at the time we're recording this. I think he looks the proverbial good each way bet there in the first. I think he'll get a positive ride as well from the front, which is not a bad thing.
Number 6, Gaelic Pride. I did notice this was a Spanish bred horse. Interesting.
Right, yeah.
Currently 5 to 1 at the time of recording at 5:30 on Saturday with Paddy Power. I move on second race. Novice Limited Handicap Chase. Queensbury Boy was bought here in October by the Bowens. Is there anything that you fancy in the race?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Ben Paulings in this. Giggs Forge, well regarded and well touted prior to winning first time out last year at Fosslas on soft ground. The form of that race and the time figure worked out really well. He was a bit disappointing next time out, and I think it was the River Don at Donna. He didn't travel and jump as well as he could. Maybe the quicker ground caught him out, but he ran really well when he finished 6th in the Albert Bartleby on Jasmine DeVoe, which in the context of tomorrow's race is class form. Again, his last run when they took him to Perth probably wasn't quite the real true Giggs Forge, but apparently he's been going really well at home. He's an Irish point winner, so fencing is always going to be his game. And as we know, Ben Pauling's also in good form. They've had a couple of runners here that have run well at this meeting already. I think they hit the post with the one in the last race yesterday, and they had another one that finished placed as well. So small sample size, but the horses are still continuing their good nick. So Giggs Forge probably one of my strongest bets tomorrow, or advices tomorrow.
And you can get that at 9 to 4, number 3 Giggs Forge in the second race tomorrow. Next we've got Handicap Chase. There's 4 9-year-olds at the top of the market, which I thought was quite interesting. And there's 2 5-year-olds, 10 them up at the bottom. Is there anything that you fancy in the Handicap Chase?
Good sponsors as well, apparently.
Good. Not yet. We'll be on to the next.
We're
on the 2 mile.
Oh, we're on the 2 mile.
On the 2 miler.
Damn it. I thought I was going to get one over on the I need to get up earlier.
Yeah.
I quite like Glengooly. Faye Bramley's bought some nice horses here, there and everywhere. She bought Pigan off Willie Mullins, which you wouldn't think you could improve a horse off Willie Mullins to win a listed chase, but she managed to do that with that horse a couple of weeks ago. And Glengooly almost repeated the dose at Aintree last week, coming up against a well-backed horse of Ben Pauling's, Mambo number 5, who had to pull out all the stops to win. And Glengooly was coming back at it at the finish. It was a really good race. The time figure was good. That horse is in good nick. So the fact that Tennysson's are running him 8 days after suggests he's come out of that race really well. He's got plenty of back class on soft ground in Ireland. He looks as though he's well handicapped off that Aintree run. So yeah, Glengooly, he looks a good each way bet as well in that race.
Currently 4 to 1, Sea of Blue actually at the moment.
Oh right, okay.
Absolutely punted. So someone's listening to Andy
surprised.
somewhere. We do get onto the oddschecker sponsored race. Delighted to be at Cheltenham sponsoring Premier Handicap here. It's definitely a first for us, an ITV race. So do catch that tomorrow/today whenever you get to view this. We've got a really good one at the top, Protectorat, who's about £10 clear on ratings of anything else here, but hasn't run. I noticed hasn't run over 3 miles since December 23, I think. Is that a concern? Ground seems all right though.
Yeah, ground's okay, but it is a concern over the trip. Has to be carrying that weight. It'd be a great performance if he does manage to pull it off. I think he might struggle against Beauport, who's got a really good record fresh. He won first time out last year, clocked his best time figure when winning, I think it was at Ascot. He ran okay in the Grand National on Nick Rocket. I think he finished 13th off memory, which was a pretty good return. I think he's probably ideally better suited going right-handed, but he did run well at Haydock the time after when he won at Ascot, so pours cold water on that theory, I suppose. But yeah, he's quite well fancied. The Venetia Williams horse as well is another one you could throw into the equation, Tanganiki.
Yep.
But like we saw with Hunter Legend here in the Paddy Power today, if you haven't had horses that run round Cheltenham, I've laboured that point. It's hard for them to come here and win first time off the bat. So even though we like the mud, yeah, just the fact that it hasn't been round Cheltenham is a bit of an off-putting thing. So Beauport would do for me. Be desperate if I couldn't tip the winner of the oddschecker handicap chase.
That is very true. Yeah. That is very true. Beauport currently being backed 100 to 30 actually. Might vie for favouritism early in the hours of tomorrow morning. Would love to see Protect Track win. They're really classy horses, isn't it? Be good to see an oddschecker rug on that one. The listed handicap hurdle, the Greatwood next. A really good race historically, and Mirabad has clearly been targeted, and Skelton's not shy to be telling the media that, is he?
No, not at all. Similar to Super Premium West, who was a well-back favourite today. They got that after Dr. Newland. Absolutely bolted up when stealing a race here at Cheltenham last season, and was very progressive. Looks still quite well handicapped. My preference for better ground, I would say. All of his best forms on good ground, goodish ground. Good to soft, I think he's gone on, but not soft to heavy in places, so that'd be a little bit of a worry. Definitely a worry for Celtic Dino, the top one, who was really impressive in winning the Welsh champion. The form has worked out well. We've seen the second horse, Alexi, go on to win at Ascot in easy fashion next time out. So probably the best form line, I think, coming into the race on the numbers is Celtic Dino, Alexi. Those two, if the ground hadn't gone as bad as it has, would have probably been on my radar as a bet. So I've had to kind of like rejig my thought process here, and I quite like Alan King's horse, given the prevailing conditions. Castle Carrock. Yeah, he beat Diva Luna first time out last season at Sandown when the ground was bad, and Diva Luna was in good form at the time. And we've seen that form boosted by not only the second, by plenty of others in that race. So I think the third and fourth have won. I think the fourth actually won the other day for Gary Moore at Huntingdon. Bit of a tenuous link, but it's still holding sway, that form. They then ran it in a grade 2 at Kelso, performed really well that day behind Jet to Vegas. Just probably didn't handle the tight track as well as it did the more galloping terrain at Sandown, and ran perfectly respectably in a grade 1 at Aintree behind Honesty Policy. Probably not quite getting the 2.5 miles that day against proper grade 1 horses, but 2 miles soft ground, as we saw first time out, that was the time to catch him, and I still think he's quite well handicapped off, I think it's 136. And Alan King's got a great record in the race. He's won it with Elgin, Harambe. He's had place horses like Harbour Bridge and Edwardstone in recent times. So it's a race that he likes to have a good crack at. So all roads lead to Castle Carrick running a big race in the Greatwood.
And Castle Carrick, number 11, currently 15 to 2 with Paddy Power and getting backed. So if that is a bet for you, then I'd get on early. Ground
That's how that could go off over, you know that.
Really?
Got a sneaky feeling, yeah.
Interesting. You heard it here first.
Got a sneaky feeling.
We get onto the flat race. These flat races are quite tricky this time of year, and hopefully we'll throw up a really good one. I'd be mistaken to not mention Chicker, that won our sponsored race here during the October meeting on that Sunday. Won it really quite nicely actually, and the owners were really quite keen to get it back out again. Currently second favourite, but have you got fancy in the race?
It's just different ground for Chicker. That's the only reservation I'd have. But you know, second favourite in a race that probably hasn't got a great deal of strength in depth. I think the one to concentrate on here, the market suggests, is Bud Fox, without being a little bit unoriginal. But that horse, when winning last time out, beat none other than Celestial Tunes, who we've just seen win the last race at Cheltenham in devastatingly easy fashion, made all the running, never looked like getting beat. So that form line couldn't look any stronger. So if the Bud Fox turns up that beat Celtic Tunes at Punchestown, then I think the rest could be in trouble. But in all fairness, he's priced up accordingly.
He's evens at the moment.
Not
time
a great
recording.
value bet in all fairness.
But form speaks for itself, doesn't it? Thank you, Andy. We have got a little snippet from our friend Steve Ryder, who can't be here this evening, but will now take you through his fancies for the day.
So the Sunday card kicks off at 1:15 in a 2-mile maiden hurdle. It's a chance that we get to see Ambiente Friendly make his hurdling debut, and it's rare that you get a Derby runner-up do that. I'm slightly worried about the ground for him though, and my preference would be for Act of Innocence, who's actually going to have his third trainer here. Finished 4th in a listed bumper at Newbury in February when trained by Paul Nicholls, and makes his hurdling debut here trained by Nicky Henderson. I thought he was fairly solid at 9 to 2. Next race is the 145, the 2.5 mile novice handicap chase, which I thought was a really competitive contest. Jig's Forge would be my selection. Finished 6th out of 20 in the Albert Bartlett last season. Slightly disappointed at Perth in a listed race on his next start, but he's back down to 2.5 miles, which is 1 from 1 over that distance in his career. Next race is the 220, the 2 mile handicap chase. I'll be with Glenn Gooley, who finished 2nd in the 2024 Thyestes chase when trained by Willie Mullins off a mark of 141. He only beat one rival home in his first 4 starts for Faye Bramley, but was much better last time when fitted with first-time cheap pieces. Finished 3rd that day at Aintree, beaten less than a length by a smart horse in Mambo number 5. He's only £2 higher here, which is a mark of 121, and that's a whopping £20 lower than when runner-up in the Thyestes chase. He's around 6 to 1, and I thought he was fairly solid. In the 255, arguably the highlight of the day, the oddschecker handicap chase, the 3 mile 3.5 furlongs, I'd be with Protectorat. Runs here off top weight, off of a rating of 165. That puts the likes of Lady Balco and Transmission out of the handicap. Now, he probably isn't at his best over this distance, but he did finish 3rd and 5th in 2 Gold Cups, including on soft ground. His 23-length victory over Jello at Windsor last season was also on soft ground, so I do think he'll handle those conditions, and he's around 7 to 2 for a horse who's definitely the best in that race. 3:30 is the Greatwood Hurdle. I'm with Mirabad Anti-Post. First run for Dan Skelton. First run since a wind operation. The ground is just a slight concern. His 5.5 length win came at this course on the new course off a £9 lower mark. I thought he was interesting on his first start for Dan Skelton, but it's actually his stablemate that I'm more keen on at the prices. At around 14 to 1, I really like Knickerbocker Glory, who has a superb record fresh on soft ground. In 2022, won at Fosslas on soft ground by over 3 lengths. 2023, won at Ascot on soft ground by 4 lengths. And last year at Sandown, won on heavy ground by 8 lengths. That was of a mark of 132. He runs here off a £6 higher mark, but I find it fascinating that they come here on the soft ground on his reappearance run, and I thought he was probably the best bet of the day at around 14 to 1. And then in the concluding listed bumper, the 4 o'clock, I'd be with Chicker, given the proven course form. Won over this course and distance at the October meeting. That followed up a 6-length success on his debut at Worcester, and I thought he was an each-way price at around 8 to 1. But for me, best bet of the day would be Knickerbocker Glory in the Greatwood Hurdle.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you everyone that's listened over the last 3 days. Andy, Steve and I have had a wonderful time here at Cheltenham. Hopefully that continues on for day 3. We will see you very soon. I want to just thank Paddy Power for their kind association of the 3 episodes that we've had here. Please do gamble responsibly, and best of luck for your Sunday at Cheltenham.